Hi, everybody. It is my pleasure tonight to welcome you and particularly to welcome Kirk Sinclair. This is actually the premiere Zoom performance of Kirk's American Discovery Symphonic Journal, and coming to you live from Pipe Man Studios, as you can see in the background, courtesy of Andrew Thompson, who is our sound and recording engineer for tonight's performance. So we are just thrilled to have Kirk performing this evening. I just want to say on a personal note that in the year 2011 and 12, when Kirk and Cindy walked across the country, I followed their blog daily. I looked forward to it so much to see where they were each day during their year-long adventure. And so it's particularly wonderful to have him have created this wonderful symphony and to see the slides that he's going to show us tonight. So thank you so much. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Kirk, and welcome everyone. Enjoy the performance.
Hi, folks. I appreciate you tuning in to watch this performance of the American Discovery Symphony. It's based on our 5,000-mile walk, me and my wife Cindy, our 5,000-mile walk across the country along what's called the American Discovery Trail. Very well named because we indeed did a lot of discovering of America. And this symphony takes that, runs with that. It has 5 movements that are different themes of discovery: beauty, culture, kindness, joy, and then the last movement kind of sums it all up. It's called journey. The journey was 366 days, 1 full leap year. We needed an extra day. And then the movements, the way that each movement is structured is it will start with a narrative, a little bit of a narrative, then transition into some music, the symphony part of it, and then it will end with a narrative. So each movement has that format to it. And overall, what's going to happen with this program, I'm going to perform the first 4 movements. Then there'll be just a little pause as I switch instruments and we switch mics and stuff like that a little bit, and I'll make a couple more announcements. And then we'll play the last movement, the 5th movement, and then we'll go to a Q&A session. So I'm all set if everyone else is. Let's start.
Mile away from Jefferson Summit, which is really a pass more than a summit, but we're still pretty high up anyways. We were quite surprised when we got here. A nice grassy field with excellent view of the sunset. Most of the terrain is steep and rolling and covered with sagebrush, but this stands out as like a little oasis, not that far away from the summit. And this next stretch, 7-day stretch, promises to be a lot better than the past few stretches. First we were, hightailing it through the desert, and then the last stretch was quite surprised by the condition of the trail, and we ended up having to hike a lot longer into each day than we anticipated. But today was a pretty relaxed day of hiking. The next 6 days promised to be as well. And so we got up here with plenty of time, taking pictures all over the place, taking pictures of the way the sun, the shadows against the mountains, and pictures of silhouettes, and pictures of Cindy writing in her journal, and just all sorts of things. this is what it's all about right here in terms of being out in the wilderness. No one's going to be coming around here anytime soon.
Coming to our second tunnel on the North Bend Rail Trail. This one over 1,300 feet long. This is called the Silver Tunnel, Silver Run Tunnel, that is. I wonder if that name comes from the story around this, that it's haunted. And train engineers kept seeing a young woman in a gown at the end of the tunnel, and then it would lift up when it drove by and what have you. And it kept doing that until they found the bones of a young woman under the front porch of a nearby house. And so the story goes, it was trying to call attention to the fact that it had come upon a disastrous ending. The theme, I think, for us going through this tunnel is railroads. Railroads. And I just love going through tunnels. Even if they're haunted. But anyways, railroads. Yes, we've seen a lot of them on this trip. We saw, I guess the first memory of railroads is really how we had to go on, follow one, take an alternate route in the Sierra because of 15-foot minimum snowpack on the Western States Trail. So we had to find a different way, and part of that was on railroad tracks. But, you know, as we went through Nevada and Utah, lots of railroads, usually big, long trains, coal haulers, and what have you. And then we saw a lot more in the eastern plains of Kansas, eastern plains of Colorado and Kansas. In fact, a lot of times we were just hiking right along railroads on the Santa Fe Trail. And then, of course, there was these rail trails, the Katy Trail, for instance, in Missouri, and now here the rail trail in North Bend with all these neat tunnels. So, yeah, that's been, along with rain and wetness, railroads has been a pretty common theme during this hike. tell you, I love this. This is my favorite part of railroads, I guess, is going through a tunnel like this. And we're about to go through the longest of the tunnels of the North Bend Rail Trail. You can hear the water rushing at the entrance, and we've been warned that this is a wet tunnel, so we'll see. Maybe you'll hear some sloshing. We've seen all kinds of kindness on this trip. We've seen the kindness that people are doing abroad, such as Debbie and her raising funds for a library abroad, and B.J. King and his work with Village Mountain Mission, and way back, Grand Junction, Colorado Mesa University, Dr. Chad Thatcher and his international learning adventures. And we, of course, see what people are doing for their communities and what community are doing for their people. The favorite quote of this trip so far is from Leadville, where the person there, head of the community meals program, said their goal was to confuse who is giving and who is receiving, unquote. Quote, confuse who is giving and who is receiving, unquote. We've seen what people have done for us. The Trail Angel Day, where everyone stopped to see we're okay on a very hot day. What people are doing for other individuals like Steve and Mesa Lakes Resort, providing housing for someone who was homeless in exchange for work, all sorts of things like that. Just kindness abounds. Really gives a lot of hope, especially like that time that 10-year-old boy Ethan Rose saw his first homeless person and had such an impact on him. He went right out and did something about it and got other kids doing something about it. It's the kind of thing that warm your heart. Can you share your experiences of what you have seen at the homeless shelter?
Yeah, since I've been a resident at the homeless shelter in Grand Junction in the last 6 months, I've seen a big influx of families now. People with children, from 2 to 5 children that are all in there now.
So they're not just, druggies or something.
Oh, no, it's people that no matter what they do, they haven't been able to get work, so. But there's programs through Homeward Bound that have helped them to get a structure, back to their, get employment and get back on their feet.
Done with Nevada now. That's Nevada, not Nevada. But there was one day in particular I'd like to call now Trail Angel Day, where we ran into a lot of people that extended their kindness to us. Helps increase your faith and belief in humanity. The conditions were right for such a thing. It was the 4th of July weekend, so people were out recreating on the day that we ran into all these people. And we happened to be on a Forest Service road rather than a trail when
once again, providing the opportunity to run into these people. And also, it happened to be a very hot day, which helps to generate some sympathy. And also, for that matter, I was fighting an intestinal disorder, so I probably look especially pathetic. So all those factors work together to run into a lot of good people and good fortune. Not much civilization out here in Nevada, not many towns to run into, but still the goodness of people is there to witness and be uplifted by.
He's homeless. He can't get a job. He did say he has 2 felons. That's what's keeping him from working, and no family here. And it just was a blessing being able to do it. And we're going to go back. We're going to make sure he's taken care of.
And what are some of the things that you did for him?
We just provided. He had let it be known through a store, UDS store up there in town, that he needed a new tent because the one he was staying in was leaking, had some rips in it. So we found this out. We took him a new tent, took it up there, put it up for him, and like I said, gave him some warm coats and fed him. And just
Yeah, we took a blanket too, and some foam cushions to put under his sleeping bag. Didn't he have or a cot he had, didn't he? We didn't see inside his tent, but it was leaking.
Can kindness change the world? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Can kindness change the world? You know it It can cure you of a frown, turn your life around. Can kindness change the world? Can kindness change the world? Can kindness change the world? Yes, it can. Can children change the world? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Can children change the world? You know they can. They can show us how to care with a breath of fresh air. Can children change the world? Can children change the world? Can children change the world? Yes, they can.
There are clothing closets everywhere in our area where they can provide reasonably good, solid clothing, lightly worn, that they can take their family and find something to wear. There's food pantries. These food pantries are places where a family can go, an individual can go, and they can get anything from meat and potatoes to toilet paper and soap. There is what I call community asset, where the physicians actually will have office hours where someone of need can go in and actually see a physician. There's special programs. There's women abuse shelters. There's family support systems. If there's a fire, there's places that these people can get a hot meal and they can get a place to stay. I would say there's a lot of integration going on with a variety of programs, and they're stationed throughout the community so someone can be fairly close to these opportunities.
Can a village change the world? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Can a village change the world? You know it can. It can take care of its own. No need to be alone. Can a village change the world? Can a village change the world? Can a village change the world? Yes, it can. Can we all change the world? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Can we all change the world? You know we can. We can feel the pain of others, treat them like our brothers. Can we all change the world? Can we all change the world? Can we all change the world? Yes, we can. Can we all change the world? Oh, yes, we
How did this experience affect you?
Go ahead.
Oh, I felt great after I had done it. I was a little hesitant because I've not ever done anything like that before. And it really made me feel good being able to do something like that for somebody.
Oh, I felt bad for the guy. He's in a bad situation. And a lot of people out there like him that for one reason or another, they're out there living like that, and you know, you just feel like you can't do enough to help these people.
We are about to go in Bonds Creek Tunnel, a mere 353 feet. Not long to talk about. We don't even need our flashlights for this tunnel. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, on the other side. What to talk about? How about animals? What do you think, Cindy? Animals?
Sure.
You know, there's animals that we've seen the whole trip. I would say crows, probably. Cows, for sure. Horses, for sure. I think we've seen a few dogs, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once in a while, we've seen a dog. And we've heard coyotes in every state.
Yeah.
I don't think we haven't seen many. I've seen one or two roadkill coyotes, not many. And then there's animals that we've only seen like in one state, like the bighorn sheep in Nevada, the antelope in Utah, the bear in Colorado. Let's see, I don't know, what else? I know we've seen cardinals, lots of cardinals, more than just in one state, but in Missouri and Illinois, they seem to be everywhere. Well, we're all already coming close to the end of this tunnel here, so time to sign off, but not before. So, Cindy, how many geese do you figure are out there in that lake?
Thousands. Oh, I think it's great. This is like the best. I've never seen so many geese in one place. And when they all flew up, it was amazing.
Okay, now we'll have Cindy and I we'll have a little break while we change instruments. One thing I want to mention is that what you're listening to is myself playing guitar, but the rest of the music is synthesized from the software I use to compose the music. It can, it can create the sounds of the different instruments, and so you can hear the brass and the woodwinds and strings. But on May 24th, if you want to hear the real thing, Yale Summer School of Music will be premiering, not the Zoom premiere, but they'll be premiering the fully orchestrated version of the symphony live. So come on down to Norfolk, May 24th. It's a Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock. And tickets aren't available yet, but I'll send out notices for that kind of thing. And you'll get to see a live orchestra, and you also get to hear a choral group rather than just a solo voice. So be worth your while. Andrew, we need to shift cameras and stuff, I think, right? Good. The one thing was the voice. When I start singing, that's the only thing I can hear in my ears. Oh, jeez. For whatever reason. I better let me just tune it. And also, I want to point out that what I'm holding here is a pebble. It's not a pick, it's a pebble that I picked up on the beach of Cape Henlopen in Delaware. The American Discovery Trail goes from, the way we hiked it, it goes from Point Reyes in California to Cape Henlopen in Delaware. But once we got to Cape Henlopen, we hung a left and hiked a couple hundred more miles back home to Norfolk, Connecticut. So I think we're just about ready to go here. Go ahead. About to go through the Eaton Tunnel, second longest tunnel along the North Bend Rail Trail. It's a long one, be good for acoustics. It's why I got my digital recorder out. I thought I'd talk about a common theme. You probably heard that waterfall at the entrance. You could probably still hear it. A lot of water on this trip, lots of water. Today there's been thunderstorms. We haven't gotten it too bad, but past 2 days there were really severe thunderstorms, but we were taking breaks in Parkersburg, so not too bad. But really, this whole trip, we've gotten more rain than normal. Early on, we were keeping track of it. Got 40% rain, days of rain in California, and 30% in Nevada, and 35%, something like that in Utah, and on and on and on. Only the eastern plains of Colorado did we get normal or less rain than usual. Once we got to Kansas, it picked up again. And in fact, we did Kansas a favor there, because they were having a drought till we came by. And then they started getting some rain. And so that's the way it's been. Really everywhere we've gone, I can't say, most places we've gone, there's been some kind of flooding. There certainly was flooding that we saw in California and Nevada and Utah. Colorado, well, maybe not so much. Or Kansas, Missouri, maybe not so much. But once we got towards the Ohio River and going up Illinois and Indiana and Ohio, we saw the evidence of flooding. We've seen the evidence of flooding now today, West Virginia, our first day in West Virginia, which also happens to be day 100 for us. Psych! Yeah, but you know, you gotta take it as it comes. We've been able to sit out a lot of the storms like we did in Parkersburg, so you know, that's good. Really, sometimes the storms comes at night, and you know, that's okay. And really, in Ohio was the first time that it really got to us in terms of camping. In other words, you don't want it to rain when you're breaking camp or you're setting up camp. And both things happened, both things occurred while we were in Ohio. So, you know, we weren't very pleased about that. But holy cow. You know, this tunnel is 1,800 feet, about a third of a mile. So either I got to talk for 5 minutes, or perhaps I should just sign out now.
And there she goes, the last ember falling down behind the mountains. Good night.
Okay, I guess we're ready for a Q&A.
Bravo. Bravo, Kirk. This was an extraordinary, emotional experience, an extraordinary journey, an extraordinary document that you've produced in tribute to an extraordinary woman, and I'm overcome. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Well, my pleasure. And I actually held out until the very end before I got emotional. That's a record for me.
So we do have a question. So yes, I will find you, Kevin, and unmute you. Kevin, you should now be allowed to speak.
Okay. Hi, Kirk. Kevin Monahan. I
Space.
just want to say thanks. This was beautifully done, of course. I don't know, moved me to tears. I love you guys.
Thanks. We love you too, Space.
I hope to see you.
Come on down.
Yeah.
We're always home.
All right. One of these days I'll show up.
If anyone else would like to be unmuted, just let me know through the chat. Kevin, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I just
how
wanted
rude.
to say hi. What was that?
I said, "Oh, how rude." I'm just joking.
Yeah. Well, I won't be walking, but I'll get over there one of these days.
So Marty, you should be able to.
Yeah. Hi, Kirk. Marty Marcus.
Oh,
That was
we're
much
having a
better than I
hikers
thought it was gonna
reunion
be.
here.
Yeah, that's much better than I thought it was going to be, actually. I'm very proud of you that you finished this. It took you a long time, but you persevered. It was great.
Kind of like hiking, one step at a time.
One step at a time, one foot in front of the other. That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, happy trails.
You too, Marty.
Well, Kirk, I'll ask my question since I think people are probably so emotionally overwhelmed right now. Thankfully, I have seen this before, so I knew what to expect. Sorry, Anne, I should have warned you to have tissues ready. So, Kirk, where does one find an orchestra to accompany someone like this for your May performance?
Well, good question. May 24th happens to be before Yale is officially open, so we can't use, the Yale students won't be there to use. So through a network of different acquaintances, I don't only have a hiker's network, I also have a musician's network of sorts. The conductor for this for the performance is an old classmate of mine, Dr. Mark Vickers, and he's rounded up. He's mainly in charge of brass. I have my daughter Serena is a percussionist. She's been rounding up the percussionists for me, and then I have a variety of friends. From Joyful Noise, like Rhonda Larson. She's not rounding up woodwind, but she is performing in the concert. And there's just some connections here and there that I ask around. I still the one instrument we're really worried about is contrabassoon. So if anyone plays a contrabassoon out there, we're looking for you.
Okay, well, we'll spread that word. So you heard it here. We're looking for a contrabassoon, everyone. So I think no one else has indicated that they wanted to. Oh, wait. Yeah, so Mark, you should be able to speak now.
Okay, hi there, Kirk. I just wanted to say
Mark.
that this was such a moving performance, and really was the first time I watched it from start to finish. And it's really amazing how much of this country you saw and how diverse it is. I'm sure you learned incredible amount doing this trip. But I am so looking forward to putting this orchestra together so we can put this thing to life 100%. I think it's just going to be a tremendous performance. I hope people will come.
Thanks. That was our conductor chiming in right there, Mark Vickers.
So Kirk, you said tickets weren't available yet. How will we know when they are?
I don't know. I mean, Yale will help out with publicity and the tickets and all that kind of stuff. So, but at this point, I've been just focused on getting the orchestra together. So I haven't really thought much about the logistics of the publicity and the tickets yet. So I really don't have a good answer to that. If I was to guess, I'd say starting in April might.
If you want.
Okay, so
No, I can.
I just muted Mark there. So Kirk, when you figure that out, let me know, and I can make sure everyone who registered for this program tonight will then have the ticket information, and we'll make sure the music shed is filled.
Okay, good. We'll bring the house down.
I think we will.
Absolutely. We've recorded the program tonight, and we'll be sending that to Kirk, who can put it up on his YouTube channel, and that will add to the PR.
I think there's, oh, I'm sorry, Ann.
No, I was just going to say, well, it definitely entices you to see the real thing, to hear it live.
We do have one more person who wanted to speak. Nancy?
Hey, Kirk. It's your old pal down at Cape Cod. This is so fabulous. It's really touching. Yeah. Glad I came.
Nancy's actually seen quite a few individual movements, but she's come down to visit us fairly often. So the rest of you guys, right. Come on over.
Yeah. So it's great to see it all together. I'm planning to be there in May as well, and I didn't realize Mark was conducting. Hi, Mark. That's awesome. Yep. Are there going to be some more Regional 7 alum playing? I wonder.
Ann Quinlan, for sure. I don't know if you know Ann Quinlan. She's the same class as Mark, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
So, Jim, do you want to speak?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
I believe you know who I am. I'm Jim Shader. I communicated with you during your walk, and
Jim
encouraged me to make my own video of the American Discovery Trail.
Hi, Jim. This is Jim hiked is prayer walking the American Discovery Trail. We actually haven't met in person, but we certainly have communicated with each other. People who've hiked the American Discovery Trail, tend to kind of know who else is out there. Thanks, Jim, for touching base.
All right, I think that's everyone. So I'm going to again say thank you to Kirk and Andrew and to everyone who attended. Ann, do you have any final words? I can add
No,
you.
I'm still overcome.
Okay, sorry, I'll take the spotlight down for you.
I'm very thankful for having this opportunity to listen to it online, and I can't wait to hear it in the Music Shed, which is such a wonderful venue. So we're so lucky that that's coming up. Thank you, Kirk.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I need some practice, so thanks.
Sorry, thank you also to Andrew Thompson, who's done a wonderful job at the deck end. There he is. Hey, Andrew.
I want to add my thanks too. He's my stress relief guy. Meaning he's taking care of all the details that Yeah, I don't know what that implies. No, he's both in the past, now in the present, and in the future. He's taking care of the sound details and other things that would stress me out if I had to worry about him.
Thank you.
Well, have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.